Hello, today is Tuesday, December 2nd, 2025. This is my second reading, I think, for today. We are going to learn about a disaster that happened several days ago in Hong Kong. I think more than 126 people are dead and 246 are still missing. So we should expect more people die from the disaster. There was a terrible when I made my first trip to China back in 2001, Beijing, Guilin, right? Two places. I saw they use the bamboo trees as a scaffolding, and I thought there was a strange. Probably our nation, Korea, our ancestors used the bamboos as a scaffolding back in, I don't know, in the old days too, right? Because we share the same culture. And I thought, wow, Beijing, China, it's set back really, remote, right? Their economy is really lagging behind. But I later understood that it's the cultural heritage that is allowed for Hong Kong, but using bamboo trees as scaffolding is prohibited in the entire China, right? So it was a cultural disaster that led to a lot of innocent people die while they were staying in their apartment. So let's find out what happened and what was the real cause and what should be prevented in the future, right? Like banning some stuff. And let's learn English while reading this article. This one is from Disastrous History. All right, updating with a little more information on the Hong Kong fire happening right now, November 26, 2025. There appears to be at least 4 blocks fully engulfed. Based on information provided by the Hong Kong Housing Authority, there are around 4,600 people who live in these 8 apartment buildings. Figure 2,300 total people in the 4 that we can confirm are on fire. What the fuck? Figure 2,300 total people in the 4 that we can confirm are on fire. What? Of those 2,300, at least a third are over 65. Okay, 65 years old, 65 years of age. So about 706 people are so. What the? The fire started at 2 in the afternoon on Wednesday, so the younger residents would likely be at school or work. But 65 is the age at which Hong Kong residents can receive the old age living allowance, meaning they would likely be home at the time. So we are looking at an absolute floor of being wildly conservative. What the 400 people? I think this English is quite terrible, but we can understand what is going on. 400 people in these buildings at the time of the fire, a large portion of which are likely elderly and would need assistance evacuating. As of about 8:40 p.m. Hong Kong time, the fire service in Hong Kong was telling residents whose buildings were on fire to shelter in place and seal their doors to wait for rescue. I don't know. They need to evacuate their home and shelter in a nearby school, right? It's a timing in the description is juxtaposed. Problem with that is there are multiple photos of the buildings on fire, with the fire clearly burning inside the building during the daytime. I don't know, I'll just skip it, right? I'll just skip this article. It's a terrible. Well, I'll just sorry about that, but I'll just skip it and look for, wow, duel, right? Duel. This one, History Oasis. On July 11th, 1904, that's about 221 years ago, two of America's most prominent political figures met on the dueling grounds at Weehawken, New Jersey. Vice President Aaron Burr faced former Treasury Secretary Alexander Hamilton in a confrontation born from years of political rivalry and personal animosity, right? Political rivalry and personal animosity. In a confrontation born from years of political rivalry and personal animosity. The feud between these men traced back decades through competing visions for America's future. Hamilton, a Federalist, had repeatedly blocked Burr's political ambitions. In 1800, Hamilton's influence helped deny Burr the presidency when the election went to the House of Representatives. 4 years later, Hamilton's opposition continued to Burr's failed bid for New York governor. The immediate catalyst came from a letter published in April 1804. Dr. Charles Cooper wrote that Hamilton had expressed a despicable opinion of Burr at a dinner party. Burr demanded an explanation. Hamilton's responses proved evasive, right? The audio proof was elusive, but here, Hamilton's responses proved evasive. Hamilton's responses proved evasive. After weeks of correspondence, Burr issued his challenge. The two men rowed across the Hudson River at dawn. Rowed, right? Not rowed, rowed. That's another good expression, right? Two men rowed across the Hudson River at dawn. They stood 10 paces apart. Accounts differ on what happened next. Hamilton may have fired first and missed deliberately, or his shot went wild after Burr's bullet struck him. The ball lodged near Hamilton's spine. He died the following afternoon at age 47 or 49. Wow, lodged in his spine, right? Burr faced murder charges in New York and New Jersey, but was never tried. His political career ended. Hamilton became a martyred founder. He is faced now on the $10 bill. The duel marked a turning point. Public opinion increasingly condemned their practice, and it gradually faded from American life. 10 feet away. So the Hamilton's responses proved elusive, right? Evasive or elusive, evasive. Hamilton's charge responses proved elusive. In a confrontation born from years of political rivalry and personal animosity. In a confrontation born from years of political rivalry and personal animosity. But as usual, let's go back and see. But audio proof was elusive, right? Michio Kaku. In a confrontation born from years of political rivalry and personal animosity, Hamilton's responses proved evasive. The two men rowed across the Hudson River at dawn. I would say the two men stood from each other across the Hudson River at dawn, right? So always the place comes first, then the timing, right? The two men rowed at dawn across the Hudson River. That's bullshit, right? The two men rowed across the Hudson River at dawn, right? The place and the time. The P always comes before T, right? So the place and time. Remember that. Thanks for listening and have a great Tuesday. Bye-bye.